All right, people. It's not live stream podcast.
The best ones.
Clearly, the Obsessed Garage people love.
I'm here to talk.
Tommy Farrell here. They
you don't even
love
need the
this
video.
guy. Yeah. So, the stinky old Japanese R33 we cleaned up early this week, and it's at dry ice blasting right now.
Yep.
And after they're done with this, we're going to head down and drop the E36 off, and we're going to freaking transform this car.
I'm excited for you to meet this dude because you guys are like, you're obviously not the same, but you're cut from the same, you know. Like,
what is he, an engineer type? Probably.
I don't know. That's the weird thing. This guy, I feel like he can. Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's like
right. I feel like he can predict the future. He's one of those. You ever met one of those? I mean, you might be one of those.
Those are just business people,
So,
business owners.
I mean, I shouldn't probably talk about his business, like his actual human business, but
yeah,
he's mined crypto. Before you would mine crypto, he just done like crazy stuff, and like he owns something called a list. And it's just like a dealer-to-dealer network for selling cars to, or like wholesaling cars or whatever. I don't really understand it because I'm not a dealer. But so he found dry ice blasting by trying to help his clients on the list, right? Because it's almost like a consulting company, right? Like he, as far as he connects everyone, he gets all the data from every car sale, pretty much ever, I guess. And then he tries to help his dealers get to like the next level. So he discovered dry ice blasting because, I mean, you could pull a car out of the woods.
Transformative.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a big A to B difference.
All right. And like you can make a car that is average condition, above average condition, and then sell it for not, or like above average. You know what I mean? Because like you said when I talked to you, like what's the first thing you look at in a car that's older? You want to see the underneath.
Yeah.
And he makes the underneath. I mean, not downplaying anything any detailers do. There's no shortage of people that can make the paint present better. I shouldn't say better, but present better.
Well, the cost of entry, as well as the time to develop some expertise, with a polisher, is considerably different and not nearly as noticeable to the average person.
Right.
If you took a swirl, like my E36 is a swirled out, scratched up mess, and if I was showing it right now to a regular person, they'd be going nuts. They think it looks great.
It looks awesome, and it looks good under your lights.
Yeah.
So outside, it looks like a 10.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But so we could spend $10,000 worth of labor hours totally correcting the car, and you're going to get nothing extra.
Right.
For that,
because everyone expects it to look like that,
right? And so instead, we're going to do the entire underside of the car, and all I'd have to do is take a potential buyer and just get them a creeper, or put it on the lift and say, "Look at this thing; it's pristine," and they'd be like, "Wow."
Well, that's it because it literally looks pristine. Like the 33 had some weird coating, like I was telling you, and the process he's had to like play with the process, and it's not just spray a hose that has dry ice coming out of it. Like I guess I didn't think it was that, but I thought it was that, and this guy's like talking about the angles and you have to actually let things cool, or I shouldn't say cool, heat back up, because he's taking dry ice and if he focuses on an area, it will freeze, right?
Yeah. And it locks the dirt on.
It'll lock it on. So he actually will come back. He'll keep doing it so it expands and contracts and does his thing. And then when he comes back, like the first time he'll hit it, it'll do nothing.
Yeah.
It'll look like he'll move on to a place 6 inches away, go back, and like for there was a sticker in the gas door, for example, and he's hitting it for a while, and he's showing me, and I'm like, okay, like it's not really working, and he's like, yeah, moves it into the gas door, gets by around the gas cap, goes back, and the sticker just flies off, and there's not even glue there, and he's just like, that's where you got a sticker that's gonna cool and heat at different speeds, and the metal is going to cool and heat at different speeds, and as soon as they are opposite of each other, it just the adhesion is gone.
It makes me want to take the Civic there before I give it away.
so here I guess I can, I don't know what, I mean, he shouldn't tell me something I can't talk about, so I'll just tell you he's working on, he is the he owns distribution or owns the rights to this one product. So the one he was using, the setup is crazy, and it costs about $100,000. So he has a 40-horse compressor, a holding tank, a dryer, a holding tank, and the unit. And
so he's not rolling around like a portable dry ice unit container thing.
He said that doesn't work. He said the portable stuff, I mean, it works, but he said the portable stuff, he said he's always like evolving, and he said his next level is climate control. So if you have an air-conditioned garage, he's going to work 3 times the speed because humidity destroys this process. So, and he's down in Florida. So that's not cool. Yeah. But he's working on a unit that's much smaller. Only needs like a 10-horse engine, or a compressor, but it won't do what the big one does. You're not going to spray the entire underside of the car. You can do interior vents around shifters. But it's going to be around $10,000. And I was talking to him about you guys, because you have. I kind of explained it in the sense like no one can compete with YouTube because YouTube has a community. Right. Yep. No one. I'm not saying no one can compete with you, but there's no reason to compete with you because you already have the community. Right. If you distribute this thing in your community, he's not, it's going to be a lot quicker of a process.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, he's really trying
unless you're doing cars, like doing it and making your money back.
It's not going to be a homeowner
$100,000, isn't it? Yeah.
No one's in DIY dry ice blasting,
Right.
This is not cost effective.
Where do you get the where's you get the dry ice? Don't you have to go to like a special facility?
No, like Airgas does it. Have you heard of Airgas?
Yeah.
Airgas delivers him dry ice. You have to go to a special facility, but it's not.
It's common.
It sounds so foreign, but it's it's not that hard to get. You remember like back in the day, people would use it to like remove sound deadening in their car, right? You throw it all over the floor, you just leave it, and then you just go through with a hammer, and it just chips the tar off. Think of that process out of a sprayer
with control.
And you can do it upside down because obviously this needs to freeze, so you can only do it on this surface, but now because of the sprayer you can do it on the opposite surface.
So we're going to go down. You shot some vlog style stuff.
Yeah, just really basic stuff.
But we're gonna shoot I'm gonna send Waba down there for the whole week.
Yeah,
and the E36, I'm gonna have him just go.
That'll be
full
cool.
out.
It'll be awesome. It's really. Remember we like steamed that sticker off. He would have dry ice blasted off in 4 seconds. I was there like scratching it with my nail and probably doing more damage to the paint at the end of the day. More work for you guys. He would have just been like, and it would have just flew off the car. So it's pretty. I've been into it for about 2 years. I saw like an article about the Manhattan Car Club did something with it like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, and we do vapor blasting, which I told you about. It makes aluminum, like cast aluminum, look brand new. I love the machine. It's crazy. But it just seemed out of reach, and now we're getting in dry ice blasting. We bought one.
Yeah.
So we bought the unit he has, and we're going to set it all up. And because we do the Skyline restoration, it's going to just... The coolest part about it that like besides a detailer would like a mechanic would like, is the transmission, right? So if I vapor blast a transmission, there's bearings and there's stuff. The vapor blaster is water and glass bead, like really powder. It's like confectionery sugar, it feels like, right? And I can clean aluminum and make it look literally brand new. But if that glass gets into a bearing, it ruins the bearing immediately.
Right.
Like you can feel it gets like crunchy. We've tried it. We've ruined stuff. The cool thing about the dry ice is like a transmission is ugly. Like your engine looks really good in there, but like the transmission looks really good, but a normal one doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to take it all apart, vapor blast it, reseal it, put it all back together. I need 10 hours of mechanic time or whatever. The dry ice blaster, I have the transmission out naturally like I would.
You're just sitting there.
And I just spray it, and it looks an 8 out of 10 instead of the 10 out of 10, but the time savings is going to be huge.
Rebuild, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's like you can't just powder coat calipers.
Right, you have to blast.
People have to, you can paint them, but if you powder coat a caliper, you have to take it out and get a rebuild kit and rebuild the thing.
Because all that sand gets into everything, it's just
so vapor blasting is like powder coating a caliper versus
painting.
Just painting. You just tape it off and paint it.
Right.
It just where that would be like dry ice blasting. You could transform things with painting it.
Right.
So, how does the vapor blasting? Is it a big air compressor as well that it runs?
It's a 10 horse. It's a 10 horse. It's like it's bigger than it's way bigger than what you have. like way bigger. It's an Ingersoll 10 horse, and even that kind of struggles because you have like a nozzle that's, let's say 10, I think it's 10 millimeters, and you're just dumping air.
Open. It's like an open air dump.
It's like like your foam cannon, how that works.
Yeah.
Just picture that with like kind of with air and water with glass in it, right? So it's a self-contained unit. You mix, I don't remember what the mixture is, but it's 20 gallon or 20 pounds of glass in this big hopper, and it's a recycling unit, so it pumps it from the bottom, and there's these crazy like catch basins that try to get the glass out of the water because you want clean water too to clean off a part when you're done.
Yeah.
So it's a big basin like on the bottom. A pump pumps it into the piece that you're think of like a sandblaster, and then the water after 5 minutes after everything settles, the water will drain into the two basins, and that's your fresh water. It's the coolest. Like I couldn't do what I do without that machine.
How much is that machine?
So ours was 15,000, but it's the biggest unit you can get. It's 60 by 30 by 30, I think. Mm-hmm. You can get like they go from countertop like ones to just like a normal sandblaster. Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's not in the recording. It's just in our headphones.
Okay. Just making sure
something's going on.
Wait, what was I saying?
You're talking about the different sizes of the.
The different sizes. Sorry, I had COVID, so it's fucking my brain. So the different sizes. I think like you can get one that's pretty usable for $3,000, and it's the company's called Vapor Honing Technologies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're like the biggest. They've like cornered the market in the U.S. But I learned it in the U.K. I went to the U.K. I've got Evos in the U.K. older ones. Mm-hmm. You know Adam's white one. Mm-hmm. I have one of those. I have an older one. The U.K. all this stuff is so much more common.
Yeah.
The blasting and the restoration because their cars are, the roads are shitty. They salt everything. So like the underbody restoration is like huge over there, and I went to a shop called CPP and they had these vapor blasters and he was just showing me and I was like, this is what I strive for with aluminum. You sit there with a mag cleaner and try to clean just raw aluminum. It just doesn't do it, know, but, it's cool. We couldn't do what we do.
So you throw it. Do you have to like degrease it before you put it in there?
we make sure we decontaminate it because you don't have to, but it's a recycling system. So any dirt from anything gets into the basin, and after a while, the water starts turning brown, and that's when we do a changeover. And it's all environmentally safe, so you can just dump it. Like even the glass bead is somehow environmentally safe.
So let me ask about this. So let's say I wanted to zinc plate all of the bolts on
the BMW.
So how do you do that? You just take apart. You like leave the one bolt in that holds everything together and do that one last. Do you send it out in stages?
So we will like. It's all like the restoration stuff we're starting to bring onto the channel more. It's really hard to film because it takes a long time. Mm-hmm. We're getting it down to like being quicker, but we basically strip an engine bay to nothing. When I say nothing, like it's just the metal. And because we know the Skyline so well, and we have so much hardware, we know where everything goes. Yeah. Now, BMWs I've parted out over 250 E36s. I could tell you where every bolt goes in that car, and like, so you would take it all apart and you would have all the pieces out, or we would, like, your car comes in, we take it all apart, all your knuckles and your brakes and everything. Some stuff goes over to Ty and he starts vapor blasting it. Some stuff goes to a powder coater, some stuff, and then all the bolts we just put in a 5-gallon bucket, and our zinc plater comes, picks them up, and you have color options. And it's how like true to the OEM you want to be, because in like old Mazdas they used a lot of I don't know what they call it, but it looks like green. It looks like olive drab, like OD green.
Here's a business idea for you.
Okay.
Figure out every single bolt for an E36. Find guys like me.
Yeah, and just get you a kit.
I want a whole kit. Then I can just do bolt for bolt, bolt for bolt.
So you can go to the dealer and buy them.
I'd pay $15,000 for that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll do that for you with new dealer bolts, because I have like the schematics, and it'll cost you probably $5,000 to get brand new, original coated. The problem now is zinc plating is like become illegal because it's such a dirty process. So they're using, or it used to be cadmium, I think it was called, and I don't know, but it's really hard to find a facility. Yeah. So we have one. They're like grandfathered in, you know what I mean? Just like every other dirty thing. it's easiest for our shop to, like, if you were to, like, okay, I'm sending the E36 up, we would do, you know, and it depends on how you want it, right? Like your fender bolts are Torx, T30 Torx, T27 Torx. They're paint matched, you know, those little like circle ones that go up the fender.
Yeah,
they're paint matched. So some people like the zinc because it like pops, and some people want them original paint matched, and you just have to figure that out. But
because the other thing I thought about doing was I'm going to pick the rear end.
Sure.
And I'm going to take everything out, less the few things that hold it together, you know? And then I'll send 3/4 of those out, to send them up to you, have them zinc plated.
Yep.
You send them back. I put those in. I take the last couple of bolts that are holding everything
them
together.
With the next batch.
So it would take me 4 or 5
You'd
iterations
forget
to do
like
that.
13 bolts, and your car would fall apart when you're going on the road. No, I mean, yeah, you can do that.
See, I want
you
all
don't want
new
the car
bolts
taken apart.
And then I want to do 1 for 1. Okay, I'm going to just this afternoon. I'm going to take this corner of the car, and I'm going to.
So you're lucky because BMW supports cars back to the 2002. You could go to the dealer.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff missing. Obviously, everyone knows there's stuff in NLA. But you can go to the dealer and build, like, I think they say like 75% of a 2002. You know those old like 70s.
Yeah.
You could build those. E36. Short of, I think the sunroof headliners are not available. I don't know how you found door panels. They must have brought them back. Carpet you can get almost everything for an E36 brand new. It might take a while because they're producing it or whatever, but bolts are going to be cake. I can get you every bolt brand new from the dealer for that car.
I'm doing it. Let's do it.
So the cool thing though about what we do is if you sent your car up and you're like, do your thing, we would drop the rear subframe, and I could powder coat the rear subframe.
Mm-hmm.
I could powder coat your trailing arms, and on your trailing arms, there's an M with the 3 stamped into the cast into the trailing arm.
Yeah.
I could do it like white M and the M colors powder coat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like your brakes are hideous. Those stock brakes are hideous. But you do them black, and you could do the M with the 3 things powder coated into it. You know, and like that's the next level. I'm sure you're gonna do like a Brembo big brake kit on it. Yeah. But you gotta have I&D paint match it. You gotta have them do them techno.
You think
they paint match them? All right, so I'm a BMW guy.
I was just gonna do black.
Yeah, but I mean that's cool. But imagine techno violet. You'd be, you know, or somehow.
I was gonna either do yellow or black.
Yellow would look good on the purple. I don't know,
but I already have yellow on my blue car. And
I like black
and my both GT cars, both Porsches.
They've done like I&D's done like the green.
On
the M3s and stuff. I just think it's really rad because that car, you're keeping it stock. I'm gonna be honest, like E36 are kind of boring. You know what I mean? They're like a little bit boring. Yeah. But if you were to do like techno Brembos and like try to like spice it up, I think it would be really rad. You know, and like you said, you want to do. I mean, can you talk about your plans on that? The Recaro center section. I would do an M Cross shift boot, or you know what I mean, like stuff like that looks.
Yeah, that's, you know, like my F10 M5, you have to just do some things that de-grandpa, you know, to be boring it.
For sure.
Even though it's purple, it still needs something.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this freaking headphones. It's driving me crazy.
It's
something. There's some interference coming through.
Do you think it could be like my laptop or something?
You know, it might be.
Because it's my laptop. Was it your phone or my... That was your phone. Oh, no, it's my laptop.
Okay. I was like, man, we don't normally have this.
That was bad.
Yeah, it's a laptop sitting right on
the wire.
Oh, shoot. Hopefully that probably went through the whole.
You think it did?
Whatever.
Nah, you could probably turn us up.
So I think with the E36, I think if we dry ice blast it, you figure a good percentage of the underneath stuff is going to be new. Sway bar end links, sway bars.
Probably all the control arms.
Yeah, control arms, toe arms, the coilovers, springs. You know, I'll likely probably do new. Yeah, like the perch, the lower control arm with the spring perch. We'll probably get new.
Oh yeah.
We'll have camber plates up top, and so I think the combination of dry ice blasting, all the new parts I'm putting on. And then if I did all zinc, new zinc plated bolts in the whole car, then I'll end up with, I don't think I'll need to do like powder coat different things.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just the extra step, like it's a lot.
I'm still going to drive it in the rain, I'm still going to drive it in Florida.
In my opinion, the reason you would powder coat it, so it kept that. But I get it. I mean, you would have to send the car up to us, and if we do E36s, I've done so many of them. the one thing it starts the scope creep, right? So you want to put all zinc plated stuff in, but then it's touching something that's not powder coated, and then I could sell you on you need the subframe reinforcements welded in, that and then we will have the dry ice blaster. So when we take your subframe out, all the stuff Scott didn't get to, we could get to,
the top side,
and then we could powder coat. We could replace every bushing. We could replace the seals in the diff, and we can paint the diff. We can vapor blast the diff cover, which is big aluminum finned. We could just we could take it to the next level. But it's a $1,200 tow. 3 weeks of our time, and then a $1,200 tow back. It's a lot. But at the end of the day, you'll have a 0-mile E36. And while I have it, you don't have to do the piecemeal one bolt for one bolt thing.
Point.
I just throw it in a bucket and send it out.
Let's do it, and I'll fly up there and video.
Just sold them. You guys just saw me sell Matt Mormon. No, I think
what's that going to cost? 10, 12, 15 grand?
Yeah, probably 15 grand at the end of the day. It's mostly man hours. It's just a lot of little.
So I'm going to be 45 into the car, probably 20 in different aftermarket parts.
Yeah,
and then if I do another 20 of restoration. And I'm still under 100K,
which is probably your goal for everything.
Yeah. I'm still 50 grand less than I spent on the Civic.
Right. Yeah. No, and I think you're going to have probably a top tier car. It's not like you have 0 miles. 37,000 miles is not zero.
Right. The other thing we'll see when I polish it, I might freaking paint it.
Really? Oh my God. If you're going to do that,
I'm going to.
Don't let me sell you on more, but you gotta put a non-sunroof roof on it. You can buy them right from the dealer, and it solves it's awesome. And it's really if you're gonna paint the car, if you're not gonna paint the car, don't do that.
I don't know.
It's not that bad.
I don't know. I don't know how easy it is though. Because like the E46, E92s, the M5s, they came with a factory carbon roof option.
Right. So the E36 is brazed on the corners. I've messed with them because I've taken them apart and sent them to the junkyard, and I've hit them with a grinder on the paint on the A-pillar. I could tell you almost exactly where the brazing is. The roofs are brazed on, but they are pieced together just like they sell the piece. And the roof is so cheap from the deal. I bought one. I don't know what I did with it, but I bought one, and you have to cut the brazing. You have to have somebody grind down the A-pillar, cut the brazing, grind down the B-pillar, cut the brazing. Inside, you need a new roof bow, which is the support. They take the roof off, they cut it. It's definitely more of a process than your E46 or E92 because they don't have the rain channels. That car is solid all the way around. But once you're painting something, you might as well make it yours.
If we're going to do that, no one probably makes a carbon fiber version of that roof.
No, because it doesn't have the rain channels. Somebody they could do exactly what the metal one is, and they would glue it in, and then they would fade. I think it would look sick if they faded paint. So you have your A-pillar. Yeah. You don't want like a direct paint line to carbon, so they would fade the paint into the carbon, clear the paint. You know what I mean? So it's like this fade where all of a sudden it just like disappear. The paint just disappears into carbon.
Yeah.
Good luck finding somebody on that chassis to do it. To make that carbon roof. They did it for RX-7s, they have one, and Evos and stuff, but
I see what you're saying. So somewhere in the A-pillar,
it looks like a gold line, and it's brazing because that's how they used to attach it. Now they would just use a glue.
And then they would just body filler it. And
it's such a small, it's not even like, because they're so good with the brazing. Like Ben, my buddy Ben that's out there, he's a fabricator, he's a welder. He could braze that the way the OEM did, and you would probably need like some thick primer. He'd do it, he'd make it so good and grind it and fill little pock marks and stuff that you'd never see.
Well, we'll see how far maybe I take this thing to that level.
Or maybe you just do the little things and then you look for a slick top in the UK.
Yeah, that's
you find do you like the purple? Is that your thing?
No, it's cool. I'd rather have Esterol blue is what I'd like to have.
Do you like the 4-doors?
They're okay, but I'd rather car I'd rather have the coupe. The only 4-door that I prefer is the F80.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I like that aggressive arch.
Yeah. Other than that, like the E92, I prefer the coupe. I like the 4-door.
Right.
The E46. Obviously, we only had one option, and then the E36.
I love the E36 4-door because I parted out so many coupes. I think I've been around them, but the 4-door is a better car.
Yeah.
You like your 2-door doesn't have it really doesn't have a B pillar, right? And then so they say like the stiffest E36 is the one that we gave away, but it was a 328. It's a 4-door slick top fixed back seat. So even some of the your coupe has a hole so you can pass stuff through, and your 4-doors do. They made a fixed back seat that was just a solid thing. Yep. And the door panels don't have the problems that your door panels have on the 4-doors. Yeah, I mean an Estoril 2-door. You have to get it on black. Good luck finding the M-Cross. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to start playing. You might take 4 apart to get one good one.
It's funny because let's say 20 years ago, if these cars were readily available, like I would never get M-Cross. It's cool now. Yeah, Back then, you'd have been like, "What idiot ordered that?"
I was speccing out like an F80. I wanted a Yaz F80, and I specced it with the speed cloth.
Yep.
It's so sick. But yeah, that's the whole reason the slick tops are so rare, right? Because back then people were like, "I want a sunroof," but BMW didn't offer. You'd have to delete the sunroof. Right. You know what I mean? It cost you money to get rid of an option, so no one did it. E36 slick tops in the U.S. are like hen's teeth.
And I'm guessing most of the ones that deleted it were guys that destroyed them on the track,
Yeah, or just people that had bad experience with Euro
leaking.
Yeah, I mean, which who didn't prior to 95 have a bad experience with a European sunroof?
I don't know how far I'm going to take this thing, but I think you're right. I think I'll take it short of painting it.
Yep.
And maybe do the bolts, and then again bring it up to the standard, and then I'm bored with it, and then sell it, and find like a 2,000-mile Euro car or something crazy,
and have the good engine, and have the essence.
But the other option is this could become my baby, and we do me and Steve Dinan build the engine,
right?
And we do and I repaint the whole thing and get rid of the sunroof and do all this crazy stuff.
So why rebuild the engine instead of like an S54 swap?
I don't know. I like the idea of having the proper
original,
period engine.
Well, the proper one would be the Euro one, as everyone is going to argue. But yeah. And we could source you just a Euro engine.
Sure, right.
What I mean? And then you can just go that route.
Right. Well, what would be even cooler is if Dinan stroked a Euro engine.
True. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Did a stroker like I don't know what it would be, maybe a 3.6 or something.
Yeah, I guarantee you called them and talked to him, he'd say, get an S54.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no. Like get because you're going to spend $8,000 on the Euro S52 or S50B32, and then you're going to rip it all apart, and he's just going to be like, you can go buy a crashed E46.
I like the torque of I like how that engine feels, even though we haven't gotten it up to standard yet.
Yeah. The S52 you're talking about?
Correct.
Yeah. So you got to there's some little upgrades you can do, like a M50 manifold. So So is yours a 3.2 or a 3-liter?
3.2.
Okay, so there was a changeover, obviously, because the 95 and midway through 96 was just the 3-liter.
Yeah.
So you have a 3.2. So if you were to get the 3-liter intake manifold, or what they call the M50 intake manifold, what they did with the 3.2, you'll notice they have the same specs as the 3-liter.
Yep.
It's because of all the emissions crap. So one of the things they did was they made the runners on the intake manifold much narrower, much smaller. If you go to the older one, which is very inexpensive upgrade, and Castle Performance makes an awesome install kit, you can get another, it's like free horsepower. You can get just a couple, and it looks a lot cleaner. You can delete like the traction control throttle body at the same time, and you'd get the older intake and the older airbox if you wanted to keep that stuff. But it does a ton. I'm
so sad. A guy sent me a message, DM'd me on Instagram, said, "Hey, I got a brand new in a box Dinan carbon fiber engine cover and fuel rail cover." But it was for 95.
They're slightly different. And those are no longer available?
No. Hopefully, they're starting to bring stuff back. Like I got the Dinan intake, got the strut tower braces, got the throttle body.
That's cool.
So I got all the Dinan parts that are in transit. I got I don't know how the Dinan short shifter is. I'll probably end up with an auto solution short shifter. But
the best one is either you do a CAE, but it's annoying because you got to cut all the stuff, or you do the UUC.
Yeah.
The UUC I had one, and it's amazing.
Well, this guy, you know the guy Ronald from Auto Solutions?
No.
He's like the BMW like short shifter guy. You have to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Just do the mini restoration. I'd keep the original paint because if you have any intention of selling it, obviously it's worth so much more.
Yeah.
No one else is going to believe that the car was perfect and then you painted it, even though we know it. I mean, you can prove it, but realistically, you know, like an EAG car would never be painted, you know.
I don't know. I think they do a lot of paint.
Do they?
If they have to, they bring it up to the standard.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
There is a secret EAG car that I might be getting.
Oh, you have to tell me when we stop.
No, I don't care. It's an E46.
Oh. Well, it's not a secret if you just say it like that.
Well, I don't want to tell everybody what it is because then they'll be calling there trying to buy it.
Oh, yeah. No one's going to compete with you.
Yeah, it's a little bit molested.
Oh.
You know, so it's a molested E46, but it's the spec
right
I
one.
want. Yeah. So
send them both up.
I only made like 20 of them, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it.
Really?
It's whatever. It's an 06 Interlagos comp slick top.
Wow.
All black with, I believe, did they have speed cloth?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's black
really
speed cloth. And it's a slick top, and it's exactly what I want.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
But it's a little molested.
It's been in a rear end collision. They're fixing the rear end. But my E92 is beautiful, and it was in a front and rear end.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. I melted the rear bumper, so the rear bumper, the trunk. And the whole front clip has all been repainted, and the thing looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. I bought a 135. This is a crazy story from a BMW dealer, and I was real excited. And I wanted to do this crazy build. I wanted to do a 1M clone with an E92 M3 engine. Right. So I wanted to get rid of the N55 and do all that. So I got the car in like August. I drove around, loved it, put it away. It had coral interior. I found some kid to swap me for his black. Even though I liked the coral, I knew I'd get sick of it, you know. So I swapped the black in, and it sat in my garage until April. And I paid, I don't know, 40,000, 30. No, I couldn't have paid 40. I don't know, somewhere in the high. I think I paid 32,000 or something. CPO car, looked perfect. April came around, and after I'd stored it all winter, and I was like, I want to build this, but why am I doing this car? I can just buy a 128 or something, you know? So I decided to one day just go to CarMax and see what they'd offer me.
Yeah.
So when I bought the car, it's CPO, which means something, right? It means something.
Yep.
They handed me a Carfax. I was clean. Everything was cool. I go to CarMax, and they're like, here's your offer. And it was like $16,000. And I was like, I just paid, 30-something thousand. I forget. I wish I could remember. And they're like, yeah, well, it's been in a collision. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you got a clean Carfax. This was a lease turn-in. Like, how could I have not known this? How could this have been? And he's like, well, we use AutoCheck. So there's Carfax and there's AutoCheck. AutoCheck scours for public records for that VIN.
Yeah.
So that VIN came up in a collision, with a vehicle, a side collision. Like it was really vague because it was public record, a police report. Someone's like, yeah, car got hit, whatever.
Yep.
So I didn't know the scope of this, but they're like, but then they told me like it's been painted here, and I'm like, no way. So it's a Friday night. Call BMW North America, call the dealership. They're like, yeah, we'll schedule for you Monday. I'm like, whatever. So I get back and I look in the booklet that came with the car, and I found the original owner's name on like this like thing in case the car got stolen.
Right.
Never would have found this dude. So I call him like, hey, this sounds weird. I left a message. Didn't expect a call back. Dude calls me back and he's like super nice. And he's like, yeah, I love that car. It's funny you have that. And I'm like, yeah, I got a question. Was it ever in a collision? He's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, can you tell me what happened? He's like, a state truck sideswiped me. And I'm like, okay. He's like, very low speed, but did some damage. I'm like, okay, is there any chance you have pictures of that? He's like, yeah, I've got an iPhone.
Yeah.
So, this was back in 2015, I guess. So I'm like, well, could you email him over to me? He's like, yeah. I'm like, just a quick question. I'm like, where did you get the car repaired? He's like, well, it was a lease. I was scared they were going to do something. I got it repaired at the dealership I bought it. BMW.
Which is the dealership you bought it from.
Which is the dealership I bought it from. So now I'm like, I got tattoos. I'm like a little raggy, I go to the BMW dealership and they're like, He's like, so what seems to be the problem? And I've got all this evidence in my hoodie pocket, you know? And I'm like, well, and I talked to a lawyer already. Lawyer's like, you could sue for 3 times damages. He's like, I'm in if you're in, but just understand there's like some risk. You're going to have to hold on to the car. This could take 2 years. You're going to keep paying your payments, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go into the dealer and I'm sitting at a desk like this. And it's me and my buddy. And the guy's like, all right, so what's the problem? I'm like, bought a car from you guys and I brought it to CarMax. He goes, let me stop you right there. He's like, we'll pay you more for the car than CarMax. I'm like, no. You don't understand. I'm like, I bought a car from you guys. You handed me a clean Carfax. You handed me a CPO. Somehow I found the CPO stipulations, which you normal civilians aren't supposed to get. And it states what would make a car not CPO, what would. Right? So I'm talking to this guy. I'm like, you gave me a CPO car. You handed me a clean Carfax. This car's been in a wreck. And I didn't say anything else. And he's like, okay, like, he said something else, like, oh, some smart ass response. And I just stood up and I dropped the picture of the car that I had, this side swipe. This car, I mean, it looked like somebody just kicked every panel all the way down. And I'm like, I'm in communication with the previous owner and he told me you guys did the work. And the guys, he just turned white, and he's like, okay, wait. Or he's like, go wait in the waiting room. Let me have my guys check out the car. So I see my car, like the whole place is glass. I see my car drive from the front to the back, and I'm like thinking I'm waiting like 2 hours. Like within 30 seconds, this guy's like quickly walking back, and he's like, come with me. All of a sudden, the owner comes out of his office. The owner of the dealer, he owns like a couple dealerships, and they're like, okay, what you said is true, and I'm like, and who did the work, And he's like, we did, and I was like, okay, so this, as you guys know, there's no accidental fraud. We have a case of fraud here. You guys handed me a clean Carfax. This car doesn't apply for CPO because it had a quarter panel replaced, and you count that as structural. I'm like, so what do you want to do? They're like, we'll give you a loaner. Take the car, take it home. We'll leave the car here, and we'll talk to you Monday. Or we'll talk to you this week. So, like, Wednesday, I get a call back, and he's like, can you come down? Came down, and now, at this point, I own the car 8 months, 10 months, whatever it was. I changed the interior. I'd put like 10,000 miles in the car. He's like, we're going to unwind the whole deal. We're going to give you every penny you paid to financing back. We're going to give you property taxes back. And I'm like, and he's like, and we're going to give you $5,000 extra. And I was like, okay. And so like they handed me a check and I left, and the deal, it was, and then I saw it pop up on their dealership website 3 days later,
CPO'd?
Yeah. Like, I mean, crazy though. And I mean, I had an open and shut case of fraud. Because they were supposed to report to Carfax that they did all this work. Right. They were complete. It was all in house, so they thought they could hide it.
Yeah, just get some Dumbo who.
Yep, me. They did, but the moral story is they did a great job on repairing the car. I barely could tell. I couldn't even tell. That's where that story was going.
Oh my god!
But it was wild. I mean, it probably cost the dealership, not counting the price of the car, probably cost them, couple 15, 20 grand.
Yeah, well, whatever, those guys make freaking piles of cash.
They sold the car,
to have a negative deal like that, 1 out of 200.
You never win though. Like, I got to win. You know what I mean? Like, luckily,
you
all
had
the
car,
chips.
You drove it, you played with it, and you were ready to get rid of it anyway.
Yeah.
And then you got out of it profitably.
Yep, it was cool.
I've never made a penny on a car.
That's sick.
Well, I take that back, because I had the 1M and the M5 and now the Civic. So maybe the giveaways are starting to get me back.
Giveaways are super cool.
Get me back to
zero. The net zero.
Yeah. I think. I'm just trying to think back throughout history.
I mean, you can always argue that like you'd sell a percentage of that merch and anyway, and all.
Well, now I can, but the rest of my life, I've never had a story like that where I made out.
Oh, I mean,
I always get raped.
I've always tried to, obviously profit with the card thing. It's weird. My motto is, if you like something enough to like it, you know enough about it to make money doing it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's your hobby, you should know enough about it to make money.
Well, I talk a lot about this. People always, you can just see it. Like, the average Joe thinks they can make money buying stocks. They can make money in rentals. They can make money in cars. They can make money in all these different things that they have no expertise.
Well, let's talk about my favorite line. I should start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah, what do you do? Oh, I have a YouTube channel. Oh, yeah, what do you do? Oh, you just work on cars and stuff. You make good money? It's okay. I should start a YouTube channel. Oh, really? You should do that. I always encourage it. Every one of you should start a YouTube channel and just make 10 videos.
You should watch
in 10 days.
Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD. Did you ever watch his channel? He makes all like the best, he's the best tech channel on the planet.
Sure.
He has 13 million subscribers or something like that now. He's interviewed Bill Gates and Elon Musk.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
sick.
But he's an ultimate frisbee, tall, good-looking kid. Mm-hmm. He's like probably 27 now.
Oh wow!
And extremely intelligent, like Harvard-level intelligence. You kind of get that sense.
Right.
He started his YouTube channel in like 06 or something as a little tiny kid, as like
LZ style,
like an 11, an 11-year-old making these crappy videos on some camcorder. And so I was watching one video, and he was talking about that's the number one question he gets asked is like, how do I get to do what you do? And he basically says, you can't.
I mean, I can't. I'm a YouTuber, and I can't be a YouTuber.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I've gotten through the hurdles.
We'd make what, like $70,000 or something. If you could.
Sure. No, you can't because
you wouldn't be able to do any of the projects or.
Well, that's it. So then, what would my content be?
Right. Exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly.
$100,000 a year. I spend $200. You know what I mean? Like it's not a business.
Right.
So and then I argue I'd be doing it anyway. I did it before YouTube. I did it for many years.
I was detailing cars and buying products, and I talked about Griot's Garage, and that we used on your car, and I bought everything, but there was no purpose to that.
No,
and
it's just an obsession.
Even in the beginning, before I met LZ, my channel wasn't even monetized.
Oh wow! That's
crazy. I'm like, why would I want to monetize? I don't want ads in my freaking video.
Now you're like click 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 click.
and then he made a comment, something about, because early on, I guess it went super early on, but this would have been in probably 2015. We were talking about it. He's like, yeah, you need to turn off skippable ads.
Okay.
So I guess back when you had an MCN, they had some extra tools or something, and they could turn off, and you would only have
your CPM
full
would
run.
go up.
Yeah, full run ads. And so I went in and I saw there's a little checkbox, and it was you could uncheck skippable ads. Well, that meant I had no ads.
You had no ads.
And so for the first, so I was not monetized for the first couple of years, and then for a solid year, and that's when I first started collabing with LZ. And so I was getting 100,000 views here and there, and in my videos now I get 20 or 30, and so we get every video we got like 100, 200,000 views, and I was getting like $200 a month
because you had this border ad.
All I had was a banner ad. Yeah. And so then after that was probably a year, I realized I left. I probably left $100,000.
$100,000 on the table.
For being freaking stupid, not knowing how.
Well, my favorite story, and people who know me know Chris Rudnick. He's Rice Reality. He's got his channel. So he was a YouTuber, and he was a part of it, and that's how I started YouTubing and met him. I'm not even going to get into that, but I'm, I don't know. I'm more like, I don't know what the word would be, but I like to investigate things more. So I'm looking at all these ads, and I'm looking at all this other stuff, and I'm finding that dude never put, what were the ads? He never put one style of ad, and then Rob Ferretti was the same way. I talked to Rob Ferretti, and he never put mid-rolls.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, I don't want to hammer him with
whatever populated on.
I'm like, dude, you have to put mid rolls. You know what I mean? Like, if you make $200 on a video because of the first one, you're going to make $300 because the second one. Because if people get to the second one, obviously, half the people will get to that. But Chris was the same thing. He forgot an ad, and I'm like, dude, you have to click that. And then his money doubled.
It's so funny though, because Rudnick was doing before you.
So I met Rudnick was part of a collab channel called Haggard Garage. That's they were just a bunch of kids doing dumb shit, and then there was some discrepancies between money.
Well, once money starts showing, everybody's friends until money shows up.
So that's what happened. So then they split up. Chris started his own channel, and one day I'll tell you the story because it's actually really quick. I'm at a wedding. I'm at my girlfriend's cousin's wedding. And I'm kind of dressed up. I was a little casual, so I was wearing like a black shirt, black ties, short black like shorts, black shoes. I'm at a wedding. I'm semi-casual. I had this shop that was 80,000 square foot, dusty old factory. Like there was barely electricity in it. There was no bathrooms. It was wild. But I used to part out just all different kinds of cars that I'd buy deals. And I get this DM or an email or something from Craigslist because I was partying on a 240. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and it's this person, and they're like, hey, I need a blower motor, like the aircon blower motor. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, $40. Just throw a number out there. And he's like, okay, can I come get it right now? I'm like, you can, but you're going to have to take it out. So this wedding had migrated over to the grandparents' house. They have a really nice backyard. And I was just sitting there. My shop was 10 minutes away. Yeah. Not even. So he's like, okay, I can be there in an hour. And, he's just, his kid wakes up at 2, so he functions best at 8 p.m. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be annoying, but you have to take it out. So I show up to this little raggy kid, this shitty 240, his girlfriend and this other kid, and they come into my shop and there's like, I had like RX-7s lined up and I had a bunch of stuff. And that video is on the internet. You can see Chris and I meet for the first time on the internet. And I didn't want to be filmed because I didn't know anything about it. And he told me money and he told me what he's doing. And I'm like, you're doing this? I was naive kind of because just like everyone who's like, I should start a YouTube channel. I was that guy, but I was like, I do what you do better. Like I knew that. I didn't know personality mattered. I didn't know any of that. I just like, I do what you do better. Mm-hmm. And if it was just about what you're doing, I will be better than you, So I just went home and watched his videos and started learning and, figuring out the thing. Because I didn't even know people made money on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't know any of it. I just thought these people uploaded stuff for free, how to fix your dishwasher. And that's what I use YouTube for. Yeah. So then we talked a little bit more and he wanted some more parts off the car. And I picked his brain a little more. And he was like, he's like, I make a lot of money. He wasn't making a lot. He was making like $3,000 a month at the time. He's like, I make a lot of money. But no one will give me a shop because I'm this, 18-year-old raggy kid. And I'm like, well, I've got a lot of space here. I'm like, so I'll rent you space. You teach me how to do this YouTube thing. Yeah. And that was like August of 2016. And my first video was like November of 2016. And I got paid for the first time January 2017. It was $1,800.
You're like, this is not too bad.
I was like, okay. And like I still did what I did. And then the next month I made like $3,000, and I was like, all right, I'm going to sell I own the landscaping business. I'm like, I'd much rather work on cars, which I'm already doing. So I just took the plunge and that was it. And it was the worst mistake of my life. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
I remember, I don't know when I did something. I was watching your videos and I'm like, and I was talking to Adam, like, who's this? I think Tommy's from this guy, tommyfyeah, is from up like where you're from. He's like, yeah, I don't like that guy. Yeah. Because I guess you got in a tiff with Jimmy Oaks or something. Yeah. And Jimmy is like his childhood friend or something like that.
It wasn't really a tiff. We did like a little build off, and Jimmy's kind of like catty. He's like a little girl. He's a little dramatic. So he said some things. Like he said like, and at the time now it wouldn't have pissed me off. It would have been something you laughed at. He's like, you go swipe your credit card or something, like because we spend money on shit. Yeah, and he's jealous. At the time I didn't really connect it. It was just like he's gonna swipe his credit card. But the problem was between Jimmy and I, that would have been a fine comment. But when you put it on the internet, then I had his little roachy viewers, and I'm not saying all his viewers are roachy, just the roachy ones came over to mine, and I was like, you know what, this isn't really fun because. It wasn't really a build off. It was like, you show me your style, I'll show you my style. Let's see what we come up with, kind of thing. Yeah. Turned into a competition. It turned into a lot of shit talking. And then I'm an asshole, so I was like, fuck you, I'm not doing this. And just like straight up, I'm not doing this anymore. I'll ruin it and I'll burn this to the ground. And Jimmy said what he said to LZ, but then I met LZ at Sebring. Michelin sent us to the 12-hour, and he was like, didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone, and we hung out. And he's like, actually, you're actually not. Yeah, I don't have a problem. And he told me straight. He's like, I didn't like you.
I saw you, and then you were in the videos in Japan. I'm like, I thought you didn't like him.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I got it wrong.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, I guess I have that effect on people too, as you're
well, I do too. Yeah, that same.
I hate being called arrogant or having an ego. I just know what I like. It's not arrogance. I'm not arrogant anyway. I just know what I like. Right. I know what's better. I'm not saying I'm better than you. But I know what's better than this. So if I make fun of cheap Chinese parts or whatever, it's not because I think I can produce better. It's because I just know there's better out there. So I hate that.
Well, it's like I say all the time, look, I don't speak unless I'm right.
Sure.
I just don't.
Sure, and that would be called that's arrogant, right? But it's not.
True.
It's a fact that you're not gonna misspeak. You're gonna try not to misspeak.
Right. It's just like I just don't have anything to say if I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right. You're gonna research it and make sure you know.
Like I'm not telling you no E36 this E36 that. Right. I don't know.
Right.
I will.
Right. If you learn, you'll.
That's another thing is arrogance. So I would say, well, I will. Right. Or it's like we were talking about the other day. I'm like, if I wanted to be a great professional detailer, I could. Right. Why couldn't I?
Well, that's the thing. There's certain things you can't do. There's certain things that take an artistic level or whatever. Right.
Right. Like PDR. I got no shot.
You got no shot.
Ever.
Sure. I like detailing. I have no shot.
And would I ever become the best detailer? No.
But you'd be.
I could be top 1%.
Sure.
Whatever that means.
Sure. You would just you would put your head down and do it.
Yeah, and I would have the best customers, and I'd do the best cars, and I'd only do the cars I wanted to do, and I'd only do it the way I wanted to do it.
Well, exactly what you're describing is what my channel's evolved into. So in the beginning, everyone has a group of haters. You talk about your guy. What's your guy's name?
Yeah, Leo. Yeah, Leo.
I love that he knows his name.
He doesn't think I know his name. He's this little nerdy guy. He freaking spends his whole life.
And you invited him to your house.
Yeah, like come on over, dude.
That was sick.
Everybody knows my address.
Right. He
awesome. Knows my attorneys. He's called them.
Really?
Yeah.
So
apparently he's reported me to the Federal Trade, the FTC.
Wow.
Because my giveaways are illegal.
That's my favorite. I always look. Here you go. Here's Martin Kane's info. Go tell them that.
Because the giveaway says something like no purchase required, and then you say, well, you gain entries for every dollar you spend. So there's like convoluted sweepstakes language in there. I'm like, but this is how they have to do it.
It's written by an attorney that will go to bat for you.
It's following the rules that are created by our politicians.
Here's Martin Kane. Call them.
I didn't even have to do that. He found her somehow.
Yeah, of course.
I have no idea because he's watching every freaking video I've ever made, and he knows my whole life story.
Yeah, he
knows I stole everything. Everything I know, I stole from Esoteric and Todd Cooperrider, and that and then he posts like the wrong model numbers of the wrong products, saying that I'm marking them up. But like I have like a very specific like a hose reel. It's a different hose reel. I want to sell it for less. I'd sell more of them, you freaking moron.
Well,
come on over to my house. We'll fight if you want to fight. We'll hang out if you want to hang out. Whatever you want to do.
That's so funny.
If we want to fight, I will freaking murder you. But
like that, I had a group of haters that couldn't figure out what my move was. And to be fair, like I knew what I was striving for, but I didn't know how to get there. Obviously, I was finding the path. So, like you said, I'll only take the best cars, and that's where we're at now. We're now doing customer skylines, and we have like pretty big, higher end. I told Alex Bowman, a NASCAR driver, he podiumed on the Daytona 500. We're building his car. And if you come to me with your GTR and you're like, my budget's $6,000, I'll say, I'm sorry. Go to these other shops that are starving.
You won't say, I'm sorry. Say, get out of here. I'm not doing that.
Go to these other shops that are starving and want your money. We are not starving. And I explain that to people. I'm like, I'm not doing this to make money. I enjoy keeping the cars on the road. I enjoy doing this stuff. I'm a shopaholic. You're feeding me. You let me build your car. You're feeding me. Not literally. You're appeasing my brain. So we've done that. But all these haters are like, oh, why is he spending this much? Or why is he zinc plating? Or why is he doing this? And
you could have done it for that. You could have.
And now, as soon as we got Alex Bowman's car, I was like, oh, I get it. I get what he's been doing the last 2 years. He's just striving to get to this point, to offer this service, to start a shop, to do this, and it all makes sense, and there's nothing to talk shit about. And that's, just like you build your cars. What am I going to talk? You spent too much? You can't say that. You're jealous then. You can't tell a grown man what to do with his money.
I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like, social media in general is it's new. And people are very immature in the use of it. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how to come at you. And so you and I are like, I'm a senior in high school and you're a junior, and everybody that's commenting are infants.
Right.
Yeah. As far as the use of these platforms, I'm a senior because I'm doing it a few years longer.
I'll tell you what, though, LZ's like a PhD.
Right. And
the dude is just like, he knows how to handle public.
Right.
What do you need to know how to handle scenarios that are not good, right? That's what makes you better. Like I said, when I had a situation with Jimmy Oaks, I would handle it differently today than I did 2 years ago.
Sure, yeah,
you know, he's at that level where it's like, I can go. You don't exist. You know, you might not exist anymore after LZ just. You know,
and I had just the evolution, the growing pains. It's like you get, at some point you get in middle school, you're getting picked on, but if you got picked on when you're in college, you'd freaking laugh it off.
Exactly.
Like you can't get picked on in college, and so the same thing on social media platforms, especially when you're out there public and you have a YouTube channel, all these things. There's a maturity that we have that now I feel a sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
To call things out at times, but call it out. In the past, I would call it out because I needed to be right, and picking a fight, and I'd get all of that. That feeling.
Oh yeah.
I'd get that. Now I'll call it out with no baggage.
Well, like
this dude. That little dude,
come
Leo.
Over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like over. I call it out, build your own, all these fake profiles and all that stuff. It doesn't, come over to my house. If you want to box, we'll box, whatever.
I remember the day I was spending more time responding to hate than I was to good.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the am I doing?
Right.
Why am I giving this idiot attention and not this guy who likes me? And I flipped it, and I just flipped it. And that's all you can do. It's like, the people that do it, I love. My favorite is like the shit talking and the respond. Like I'll respond like you're wrong, and then it's like holy shit, I didn't think you'd respond. And they're like the backpedal. I mean, it happens 60% of the time. The backpedals, and I'll say like, well, you backpedaled there pretty hard,
but sometimes like last night on Instagram, occasionally I'll just like get at this is nonsense. And so the one dude commented and he tagged two other purple, Technoviolet E36 owners, and it was like stay, make sure you're watching, haha, at so and so, and I thought that meant this guy doesn't know what he's doing. These two guys do, and watch how dumb Matt is. Sure. He doesn't know what he's doing, and so I said, I don't understand what's so funny. I'm going to have like the frickin' best E36 on the planet. Right. And he's like, no. I was tagging these guys to watch because you're going to do it great. Right. I was like, oh, sorry, bro.
Yeah, see, like that. Yeah, you had a chip on your shoulder last night. Probably on that snake diet. You didn't eat.
But it happens all. Then I'm like, I'm a freaking idiot.
Yeah, that happens too.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm starting to get to the point to where I have the Facebook group. Mm-hmm. I have.
Yeah, I love the Facebook group.
And for a long time, I would like have this sense of like if I'm not on there, I'm not responding, or I'm not creating a post like every other day.
Yeah, you feel like you're not
screwing
engaging.
people. Yeah. And then same thing on comments on YouTube. Like if I'm not reading, and I hate that this freaking heart. I wish it could just be a thumbs up.
Right.
But the one that where you acknowledge.
I love the heart. I heart everything so they know I read their comment. Good, bad, I just heart
wish it wasn't. I'm not a heart kind of guy.
Sure.
I wish it was something a little not so. Yeah. You know what I'm saying. I can't say what I was going to say.
Right.
But I feel like I'm finally at a point now where if I don't follow up on a comment,
it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Because like LZ doesn't follow up on anything.
No, not.
They all do. They all do like in order to get the best whatever they make they upload it and they make a comment.
Sure.
Because apparently that does something for engagement.
Well, yeah, because then when you get to it, that you see his comment has the most likes, it's like, oh, he does respond. I just missed it. And it's like,
bull crap.
He did it a minute before he made it on private.
Screw that. We're doing it so much better than these guys, and we have 200,000 subscribers.
I think engagement with the viewership is super important, but I also think it could go bad, and there could be too much or whatever. But I like to at least say, like, because I don't get that many comments. I get 300-400 comments. I can like them all. After the first 24 hours, I don't do it anymore. But I went on your thing, read all your comments. Like
I went. Yeah, I used to do this, just part of my daily life, daily routine. And if I missed one thing, I just use the comment feed in the app. And
what was weird is when you hearted it, it showed your little icon. That's what it was. I was gonna say, imagine you could just put your icon instead of your heart. Yeah. Right. Just the Obsessed Garage. Like, what is that? A bolt?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why does that have to be a heart?
Right.
An Instagram.
I don't love all the comments. I just acknowledge them.
Yeah. I don't love you.
Yeah. You could put the thumbs up. They don't know it's from you. I don't think
they don't. Yeah, they don't.
I trolled someone in your Facebook group one time not by accident. I was kind of pissed. So this guy was basically, and he's probably watching this now that I think it. He was pitching why he should get an M4 or something.
Yeah.
To his wife. He had like a PowerPoint and shit.
Okay.
I was like, you have to PowerPoint pitch your wife to spend your own money? It was disgusting. I could not, and I'm not talking shit about anyone whose wives run their lives.
You would have been.
It was bad. It was the cringiest thing I've ever seen.
A lot of it, though, so you would have been giving me the same hard time because I had a 7-prong foolproof system, and it's not that they couldn't do it. It's like you just want buy-in.
Sure.
So he probably wanted buy-in. Now some dudes,
this dude was straight up like, she will not let me buy this, and I need to do this, and I need to move this.
Maybe she makes more money.
Yeah, I guess. I was just like, just don't share this shit on the internet because I'm like,
a lot of times people guys like us, we need a checks and balances.
Yes. No, that's for sure.
Otherwise, I'd be broke.
I'm not saying. I just couldn't. I just couldn't imagine. That's because
you're a 1950s dad. That's why you do the.
No. I mean, I'm spending my money. Right. Yeah, and but I guess it's different because my money is how I make money, and my cars and the shit he was buying. Yeah, the shit he was buying. I'm not saying don't run it by her, but a PowerPoint presentation and pros and cons and why
I dig it.
That's crazy. I was like, oh, this is gutted. You just did so bad for the male, just men across the world. Because that one was like, yeah, my husband wanted to enforce it. He gave me a PowerPoint presentation. Everyone
he's not much of a salesman because if you're using PowerPoint, they're guaranteed you're not getting that sale.
It was it was crazy. I mean, I wish I could bring it up because it was I'm sounding
you don't understand my people, just like I don't understand your dirtball.
Sure.
You have some people just have a different
dirtball. Fucking guy.
That just kind of laid back, blue collar, I'll get what I get kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I see bull. I get it. I got it. I wasn't if anyone else had done it, it was just I also went and looked at his profile and she was out of his league, stuff like that. But I get it, I get that he had to run it by.
Yeah, then you gotta keep it.
You gotta work. He was working. This dude had a second full-time job trying to get an M4 or whatever else he wants. You know what I mean? He had a full-time job. But no, that's the only time I really, now that I'm in it, sometimes because I've had the same YouTube channel or name for a while. I've talked shit on another thing and people know me now. So a video from 10 years ago, I'll get a comment oh, didn't expect to see you here.
Yeah.
And I'll read something I talk shit. I'm like, God, why did I say that? But I was one hit me the other day. I was Ryan Sheckler. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
He's a skateboarder.
Of course.
I was this is back when Sheckler was cool. He was 9 years old.
Right.
In the video.
Yeah.
And then someone and then I went back and saw it had 200 comments. I'm like, I get what I was saying at the time. He was cooler when he was 9 than when he was old. But I was dang, I was a troll. That was a little trolly.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't generally comment on videos.
Other people's videos?
I mean, only my friends. Right. You, Adam, if we're in a collab, or some other Gears and Gasoline guys, or or Savage Geesh, yeah. Or it's just some people that I know, or have had TJ, and guys like that. But even then, most of the time, I don't comment. But the commenters are important.
Oh yeah, they're huge. I commented on, you brought up TJ, another troll thing, but I was a YouTuber at this time. What you talked about, how you have to say something, you have to say, if you know something, you have to say it, right? You have to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
TJ at the time, he had a knockoff Rocket Bunny kit on his car.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, getting bigger on YouTube, and I was like, fuck this. You're an influencer and blah, blah, blah. I guess I'm very one video and don't watch the rest or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I guess it turned into very controversial for him, and he made a video later I'll never buy a knockoff again. But that's one thing that I hate is YouTubers promoting garbage because they pay them or they use it and they don't know any better. Because as an influencer, I hate using that word. There's so much power that you don't even know. Like, you don't know how many people leave your video and go and buy those shorts or whatever. You don't know.
Right.
And if you don't know how many people, when you say, I guess his whole pitch was like, not everyone has enough money for the real thing. And someone like you and I would argue, then don't fucking buy it, right?
To me, a Rocket Bunny real kit is a knockoff.
Yeah, it's a knockoff of, it's trash.
It's garbage.
But yeah.
The whole concept is garbage.
But the whole...
riveting my freaking
The whole
fenders.
problem is, like, the Japanese have dealt with, like, people, like, knocking off their stuff so much so that one of the biggest Japanese sellers pulled out of the U.S. back in the day. They're like, fuck the U.S.
But it's the same thing with everything. You know, I'm always yelling at people with detailing.
Sure.
So let's say you're a professional detailer.
Yeah.
And you have all these great brands that are supporting you, creating these products that you can buy, and then you go buy the Chinese ripoff, or they're literally at SEMA. Mm-hmm. The only reason that all those Chinese booths are there, they're always unmanned, is they're out there taking pictures and stealing stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
You know. And
what do you think of YouTubers that start their own like detailing brand? I'm not gonna say I have any problem. Like, I know Trevor sells some detail labeled stuff. David started that thing.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, David did well. Trevor, same thing. They're like, look, we're not detailers, but this company that we're working with, they are, and they told us this is what we need to get. Sell it to their audience, and as long as it's decent, you know.
But you don't think it's weird that, like...
It is weird.
Yeah,
I would never do it.
Cool, okay. So, yeah, because, like...
But I'm an expert. You're an expert in what it is
but I
you do.
Won't... I'm not talking shit about it. It's going to come across like I'm talking shit about them. I was just confused by it because if you're not a detailer, what are you doing selling detailing products?
But if you're a generalist,
sure,
like sell everything.
Like Iron X is cool. Everyone.
Well, I mean, Adam isn't a cell phone expert. But he's selling cell phone cases.
Sure,
you know.
Yeah. I get that.
But and so for a lot of people, detailing stuff is an accessory.
It's just like
it's like not a thing that matters.
It's like paper towels.
Yeah, it's not a thing that matters to them. To me.
So that's why I was asking basically if it's what you think of those self-labeled, just like whatever.
Yeah, I went up to David's and shot a video with him to help him promote it.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, I have no interest in creating my own detailing line, and I'm a freaking expert.
Right.
Because I can't make the best products. Just couldn't do it. I'd have to spend like 3 years on every product. Like,
can a lot of them not really be improved upon though?
Chances are, whatever improvement you can get to, it already exists.
Okay, so they can't really be improved upon.
Generally, I mean, yes, but you're talking, really diminishing returns. Okay. And so, my whole MO is I'm going to curate. I'm going to find what I like the best. I used to call it the best. What's what I like the best because some of that's subjective.
We were driving, Ben and I was like, we were talking about what you and I were talking about. We were talking about like scaling. We were talking about business models and how things go. And then we were talking about, I don't know how it came up, but we were basically talking about Amazon, right? And I was like, Amazon's genius because in my brain, I'm thinking Amazon's like an online department store, right? You think about it like Walmart, but online. But not really because you can sell on Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. So Amazon's more like an eBay, where it just has a community, kind of, right? People go to Amazon to buy paper towels, and if you are a paper towel salesman, you can put them on Amazon. You don't need distribution. You don't need anything.
It's a hub. It's a seller's community.
Seller's community.
It's not a buyer's community. There's no loyalty to Amazon at all.
So your business, and I'm not going to try to compare it to Amazon, is a hub for good products. You don't stay true to McGuire's or whatever.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
So like you've built a community, you've built a detailing Amazon, but not because it's also more buyer centric as well. I mean, like, because it's just like I'm trying to apply it to other things, right? So that's what I play with, like how similar yours is to this, and like how can anyone apply that to anything, right? So you do detailing, someone can do welding supplies, someone can do obsessed welding supplies, and literally just cater to a welding community and only have the best, or not the best, but like this welder because of this and this because of this.
You're an idiot if you're into welding and you have a body of knowledge and expertise and you don't do that.
Well, that brings me back to if you like something enough to do it, you know enough about it to make money.
You need to, right. Yeah, you need to, if you're a welder, you need to figure out how am I going to get to the point where I don't have to weld anymore.
Right.
But the vast majority of welders didn't spend the time, they spent time on learning how to weld, and that's all they know how to do.
Yeah, exactly.
See, the uniqueness that I have, in my story is that I spent a good portion of my life getting educated. Right? And so, getting, diplomas and the whole
sure.
College experience and all of that stuff, which isn't the only path, but I've spent a lot of my life, developing this body of knowledge. And the body of knowledge that is the biggest is the one I'm most interested in.
Right.
This is what I was talking to you about with how can you create some sort of scalable model around without having to just fix cars, do the car transformation. The car transformation is the content generation, but you're capped. You can only do so much of that.
Yeah, unless you just hire millions of people to work on millions of cars.
And then your quality suffers, and you can still figure out how to do it. I mean, look at any national chain, service chain. Look at State
Jiffy
Farm
or
Jiffy or something like that. And if you're okay with scaling
garbage,
as it gets bigger and bigger, the quality falls and falls and falls. And then they spend their entire waking hours trying to figure out how to make it as decent a quality and train and all that stuff.
I don't want to say you got lucky, but you didn't get lucky. But the place you're in is like it's a hobby, right? I mean, like you're in a luxury space. Is that
well? But think about a hobby doesn't explain it properly.
No, but you're in a luxury space. Not everyone needs to wash their car, or a Krensla, or a Karcher, or any of them, right?
It's a niche, right?
Okay.
But I wouldn't say it's necessarily luxury.
No.
It depends on what your definition of luxury is.
My definition of luxury is something you don't need, but
right. Well, so it's not an affluent thing. It's a luxury. It's a non-necessity.
Non-necessity, sure.
Right.
That's a better way of putting it.
Right. And it's something that is even if you have a car, it's not a necessity.
Right.
Like it's not something you have to do.
You don't have to vacuum.
Like, so first you would think, well, anybody who has a car has to do this. Well, no, you don't have to do that. In fact, the vast majority of people that have a car don't do any of that.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I just it's just the business thing, like trying to apply it to everything. I always look at different businesses and try to apply them, and realistically, and then look at from an outsider, an investor, or somebody like that would want a piece of it. Like, why would they want a piece of it? Because I'm dealing with that now with my business, and I'm like, well, does it work without me? Right? Does your business work without you?
It will in the not too distant future. Right. A lot of it's dependent on the site. Eventually, the site will become, so right now YouTube is top of funnel.
Sure.
Right? YouTube is top of funnel. Right below that is Instagram, Facebook groups, things like that is the next line, and then then the website. Right. And so as the website moves up the funnel, as the brand and the website move to the top of the list,
it might get to a point where no one knows who you are.
Right.
They're buying from Obsessed Garage like Amazon.
Correct. The goal is for the brand to be the top of funnel.
Right.
Right. And so that's the goal, and that takes time. That takes luck. That takes virality. That takes word of mouth. All that kind of stuff. It also takes intelligent, inorganic spending. Right. Inorganic marketing, and that's the part when I say it will be able to live without me. That's what's happening now.
Right.
Is the moves that I'm making to create inorganic marketing, as well as to protect my protect what the idea. By gaining either exclusivity or royalties. We talked a little bit about that. Because in the beginning, I had no idea. I built Krensla.
Right.
They don't think I did.
That's crazy.
They were doing a couple million in the U.S. Now they have a 35,000 square foot facility, a bunch of employees. They went out to not one. There were 2 detailing companies that sold the Krensla pressure washer.
Wow.
Now every single one of them.
Really?
Every detailer guy from here, and they think they didn't do anything. All they did was just pick up the phone.
Right.
And so they're like,
will their quality ever suffer because of that?
It has off and on, but then the Germans figure out how to respond to it, because the U.S. market was really small, and now it's become probably the second biggest market behind Europe, and will probably pass Europe.
Yeah, for sure.
But I didn't know, they didn't know, and so there's no agreement. There's no like.
But so now you'll never let that happen again.
And it isn't even a let. I mean, I still made lots of money. They made lots of money, and I don't really need acknowledgement. But it's become, because we didn't have any agreements up front, it's a little more difficult to make a change.
Oh yeah.
I have exclusivity on one pressure washer, and I don't want it to be exclusive.
Oh no.
But I want a royalty on it. It's my idea.
Sure.
I flew to New York City, met with the family, and said, "This is what we need."
And then it did well.
Now, they made it, but they would have never made it, and it would have sold any of it.
Right.
And so what I asked for is, you have all these dealers that you set up, and I want to sell that pressure washer to them, and I want to cut.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Well, you're not selling to our dealers." And I said, "Well, the only reason you have those dealers is because of me."
Right.
All these detailing dealers, they wouldn't exist. None of them.
Right.
They didn't know what a Krenz. They still don't know.
Right.
They're just trying to capture a piece of the pie. All these douche people.
Yeah.
And they don't want to buy it from me because they don't want to admit that they learned it from me. This is where the arrogance comes in.
Yeah.
People think it's arrogance. It's not arrogance. It's just fact.
Right.
And I didn't know. It wasn't like some grand plan that I had. It just happened.
It's like the same thing with the zinc plating, right? Like no one.
You didn't like sit down and say, "Here's my long-term plan." It's like, this is what I want.
I want a pretty bolt.
And you identify problems along the way as like, well, nobody's doing this. Why is nobody doing this? This makes perfect sense to me. Why is no one buying these fittings and putting it, connecting it? In fact, every pressure washer company said you can't use fittings. I'm like, well, why do they make them? He said, well, you shouldn't use them because then blah, blah, blah. You get air introduced, you can cavitate the pump. I said, well, then I'll deal with that if it happens. And so everyone told me, no, and I made it happen because I bought it, and I felt like, well, if I bought it, then other people might buy it. Shoot, you bought one.
Right.
You don't even know what you're doing.
Right.
And so that means that people, it spreads like crazy. And so anyway, my whole diatribe here was to explain that in the future, inorganics and, actually real business decisions, real agreements, I now know the value of the knowledge to then create, scale around an idea.
Right. Yeah. See, my business, I can't apply. I can't. You
just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find the angles
because. If I said the same thing, I'm detailing cars, and I'd be building a detailing business, and I would be like, well, I don't know what else I could do with this. I don't know how I could scale this because
your first thought is like, I'm going to make a soap.
I can only hire so many people. Yeah, and that's what everybody else is thinking. Right. They're all thinking the same thing. Okay, I'm going to build a detailing business. I'm eventually going to hire a few guys, and what they find is that they teach the guy everything they know, and then the guy leaves.
Starts his own.
As soon as they start to get something going, then they have to step back in, and so then they're like, well, then I'm going to create my own detailing line, and it's going to be great. And then it's not great because they're competing with companies that have been doing it for 90 years.
Right.
And then it sucks. And even that company that's been doing it for 90 years only has one good product out of their 30.
Right.
And so my philosophy is I'm going to do it differently than everybody else does it. They can't even see it.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it.
I can go on your site and I get overwhelmed because I start looking.
Well, and I go on my site. I'm like, this thing sucks.
No, I like the site. I'm just like, it. Oh my god,
because I know what it's going to be. Right. See, now it's become because I'm creating product. Now it's robust. There's lots of products.
Sure.
In the beginning, there was only 5, so it was easy to organize.
Easy. Yeah.
We're literally, those guys over there right now, there's 4 of them that are spending their entire day reorganizing it so when you go to it, it's not confusing.
So I can go, okay, I want Milwaukee stuff or tools or whatever.
Right. I want Milwaukee. Where do I start? And it'll say, Tommy, this is where you start.
Right.
Start here, go there. And so
it's
we're creating
consulting.
a path. Yeah. My skill set is organizing crap. That's really what it comes down to. So if I came to your shop and you had this cabinet filled with junk and you're like, I don't even know where to start, I do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so I would take everything out, and by the end of the day, I would have had thrown away 3/4 of the things that are in there that you didn't need. that you were holding on to because someday you might use that Bondo, and then I open it up and say, Tommy, this has been solid for like 6 years. Throw it away. Right. And by the end of it, your cabinet is beautiful, and you've got the 22 things that you need. In there. Yeah. There were 400 in there, and there's 22 that you need. Because every time you need the thing you thought you needed, you didn't know where it was. Right. And so you bought another one. So now you got 6 bricks of Bondo in the cabinet. Right.
It's just easier to go buy a new one.
Right. Yeah. So if you're going to buy a new one anyway, you're holding on to it so you don't have to buy a new one, so it freaking ruins. Anyway, that's my gift in this world is to throw stuff away. So I will punt like yesterday. Like the product that is like one of the most marquee products in my entire store. I was ready to throw it out.
Why?
Bead maker. I was ready to quit.
Why?
And do a different one.
Oh.
I thought I found a different one.
Oh.
And it's not any good. It's a bead maker. Back.
This dude, just so you know, Grail sent pallet of stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we'll use it. We'll do whatever. Cool. When it was time to coat the car, he couldn't get it out of his shop fast enough. It couldn't leave fast enough. I was getting anxious because the way we were moving
Tommy,
this
so
stuff.
what are you going to do with this? What are you doing with this? I'm just looking at him.
Yeah.
And then the only way he knew how to do is, like, everyone, free. Take whatever you want.
Take it.
Oh, no, he didn't do that. He said, get it, put it in his trunk.
We've got it in the truck. But yeah, so it couldn't leave fast enough. It just couldn't.
Well, I don't want stuff.
No, I get it.
That I don't want. No, I kept 3 things, right? I kept 3 things that I wanted in my cabinet. The 3 polishes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't get them out fast enough.
I don't want stuff that I know that I don't want.
Yeah.
But I did want to see it, touch it, use some of it, and that's the process. Right. So hopefully today when you're here, you'll see I bought every Dyne audio speaker. It cost me $58,000.
Okay.
And I probably only want 3 of them.
You need like an 80,000 square foot warehouse.
But that $58,000 is going to make me $2 million.
Okay.
Or more. Because it's the process. Like I can see it. I'm going to open it. First of all, I want to do it. I'm going to enjoy
You're a shopaholic.
Every second of it. Like I'm like, can we just get this dry ice blasting out of the way? Can we finish this podcast? Can we quit everything in life? Can I skip lunch? Just waiting for this pallet to show up.
It hasn't showed up yet?
No, it's not coming today. It shipped earlier this week, so probably won't. I hope it doesn't come today because I'm gonna punch everything. You out the door. Yeah, like I'm not going.
No.
But that's the thing is like that the anticipation that like it's like I'm waiting.
When I saw that Milwaukee stuff, I was like, oh my god.
And so that's where I think the website and the whole business and the whole scalability. So if you think about how many degrees, what I'm getting to in this whole diatribe here is that if you think all of the steps to come down to the actual business is to create a process to buy, a pathway to buy.
Sure.
I really want to sell one drill bit to like 5 million people, right? But in order to get to that one drill bit, I've got to buy all 188 tools.
Sure.
The drill bit is like way down the line in the catalog.
You find out that's the best one. That's all you're looking for.
Right, right. And it may be that I have to buy, $100,000 worth of stuff and throw it in the garbage in order to find that one thing. And luckily, I've done that. Now I can do it because I can write it off and I can sell off the stuff. Like you see on Instagram, I'm always posting. I'll do an Instagram post for this for sale, and it's deleted 30 seconds later because I got 42 people emailing saying I want it.
That's the worst way to sell something, too.
I don't care.
No, but I'm always like, I'm going to sell this. This is going to go good. And then I'm like, fuck, I should have thrown it in the garbage because I got so many DMs of people that weren't even interested.
That's why I have Chris. I say email Chris.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
And
Adam has Schulman. Just like hit up Schulman.
Yeah.
Schulman, give me the money whenever it sells.
No, don't DM me. You can DM all you want, but you're not getting it. So
the problem with that, and I'll tell people that I don't respond to DMs. Well, I try to, but I've got a lot of good stuff in my life from DMs. I found like cars and stuff, but they're always muddied up, and it's like a full-time job, like to go through DMs to find the good.
I was working on it last night.
The gold.
I like to have no things, no voicemail. See,
I'm the same way. I can't have a notification.
I don't like any notifications.
Emails like popping up. I got to delete all emails.
Yep. So no emails. What's your inbox look like?
My phone. So mine is right now. We did a drop.
6, 7. I got 7 emails in my inbox.
Well, I've been on this podcast. I haven't been able to delete them all, but I've got I mean, it looks like a mess. So this is all PayPal. So I don't delete any of the PayPal ones.
Oh, really?
So that's all, But look at that. That drives me insane.
This is 10,000.
It drives me insane.
This is my inbox.
So what happens to me is when I get a new phone, so it's usually it used to be when I get a new phone, it imports all your old emails.
Yeah. So
when it hit 3,000,
mark them all as red and delete them. And then I have some that I have then I have my my product folder. So audio, cabinets, car stuff, car washing, clothing line, compressed air, decon.
Oh my god.
Detailing. So those are the only folders I have. I have invoices to be paid, which I don't even deal with. Chris does. This is tracking. So all of my stuff I'm ordering.
How do you get it in there? You got somebody does that?
What?
How do they get into those things? Tracking.
I put it in there, and then I monitor all the time.
Put it in there?
Yeah, so I'll have to go and delete some of them.
So you spend an hour plus a day just organizing emails.
Yep. So I got a couple of Apple gift cards in there. I've got my tracking for my Voss and wheels. I have my Tesla Model 3 body kit. So those were back in December when I ordered those. I have some bits for my whatever Dremel thingy. I've got a couple of restoration hardware things. Those are my appliances.
You spend more than an hour organizing emails every day.
Maybe. So those are all the things I have. All my FCP stuff coming in for the E36.
So I have a good memory where I'll know okay, I ordered this, and I'll just go in the top and search it, and that's where I'll get my tracking.
So you got to get rid of that. That's my insurance agent. Get out of here. We got rid of one. Thanks, we received your order.
But yeah, I can't do texts and phone calls. I see people with a bunch of voicemails and stuff. That drives me insane. Okay, Facebook notifications.
But in fairness, I do have people that Chris, also. So we co-manage it. So he
co-manages his email. He's got a guy for that.
So I got Michael Good. I got to respond to, who's the Dent guy. We're going to be doing some stuff together. I got this. This thing's pretty sick. But I get people like you get all the time where people will send you cool ideas of things. So he created these 3D mock-ups of my bottles and said, hey, you can use this.
Oh, that's cool.
Anytime anybody has a lot of words, that stays at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And I get to that when I'm feeling inspired.
When you're laying in bed.
So these were Wednesday. And then I've got this, which is our new blower tube. So that's 1, 2, 3.
He's got 7 emails.
New car, which is I've got to get the E36 insured.
Oh,
so I got to send him a bill of sale. So I got to write one of those
just to insure. Oh, is it you're putting agreed upon?
My buddy Jared from Jack's Wax wants a air compressor, so we'll hook him up with that, and I'll send that to Kyle, and he'll take care of that. And then this is my appliances that we're ordering. So those which I emailed him this morning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 emails.
1 text. No text. I've got 2 voicemails we'll have to do, which we could probably just knock out right now. Oh, yeah, FedEx.
Look at it.
FedEx, that goes to my dad. He'll figure out what's going on with that. Boom.
Wait, you can text a voicemail?
Yeah, you just do that for...
Never done that. I mean, I guess I've never really needed to, but...
Yeah, you got to have somebody to text it to. What is this? This Scott? Oh, yeah, that's the appliance guy. And so I'll call him back. So I'll always leave that. So now I have I've got 6 emails
and 1 missed phone call
and one voicemail to deal with, and that's my
couple. You spend a couple hours.
And there's our Shopify. How much money we're selling? That's what we sold today. $12,000. We sold 61,000 yesterday. That's pretty sick. We're at $1.2 million for the month. Not too shabby.
Holy shit! And you just say all that on YouTube. You don't care.
What do I care? What are they going to do?
I'm just saying it's private.
It adds context to the whole thing.
Can we do this?
Oh. Is he ready for us?
Yeah, what's up? We're on a podcast, but you can talk. This is interesting.
Yeah, listen, I'm a little concerned. Did you get your trailer?
No. My trailer's missing. Uh-oh.
Seriously.
I didn't get the trailer.
15 years I've been here. Never.
Is there cameras there, any chance? Oh, you son of a... I wasn't really that concerned. I have insurance on it, but God damn it.
He was just worried about how he was going to get home. That was good.
What a rascal. All right, well, we're going to finish this up, and we're going to head over there.
All right, take your time. I'm going to eat a little lunch. I got as much time as you can give me, but I got it symmetrically clean. So
Perfect. All right, we'll see you soon.
We do. It's already 12 o'clock.
All right, bye.
We could go for hours. We got to wrap this thing up, sharing all the secrets.
What a, I didn't peg him for like a pranker, prankster.
That was good.
I was like,
well, Tommy's going to be renting a U-Haul trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how you get a new trailer, though.
Yeah, that'd be a real shame if Geico had to buy me a new trailer.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, Tommy Farrell, tommyfyeah on YouTube.
Thanks for having me.
tommyfyeah on Instagram.
It's always fun.
Go to Patreon and give Tommy some money.
Yeah. I just got to say before we go, I loved the love on your YouTube, and I appreciated the hate. And I'm like, every time someone says there's too much talking, because I used to do talking videos, people call them, where I just explain something, which is, your channel, we'll say. I mean, you just explain stuff.
I'm just talking.
I'm like, what are you watching for? Imagine we did that 45-minute video silent. I did love people who remembered the kid from Home Alone who was asking, like, well, is this an automatic? Is it like that is the best clip? But that's a 10-hour. We were probably 10 hours condensed into 45 minutes.
Yeah, and all those guys are doing is basically just editing,
talking in the parts that
they're looking at the timeline and see where there's audio,
and they put it
and
in.
they cut. And that's the editing move,
But
and
a lot of people liked it. A lot of people loved.
Yeah. Well, they like us banter together. When I think anytime you get, we should butt heads, right?
Sure.
But we have different expertises, we like our different expertises sort of complement, and so we're unlikely characters, right, to get together. But then when you have people that have a passion for something, I find that then it's more interesting.
Yeah.
And so you and I, we talk real fast because we want to get our thing in. Yeah. I want to tell you what I know.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. I wasn't even listening to you. I'm going to tell you what I know. That's really what's happening the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next. I don't even listen to what you're saying.
Right.
But that's kind of the way it goes. But it's interesting. I find other people that have a passion for something that's interesting.
Right.
And
I'm not putting rocket bunny kits on stuff. We're making stuff pretty.
If you did, I'd like it even more because then I can make fun of you for it.
I tried to say if everyone built cars like me, the world would be boring because I wouldn't have anyone to talk shit to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my cars wouldn't be special because everyone would have them. So then you got to build the junk so you can appreciate mine. You can't like something without hating something.
Yep. So we're going down to the shop. What's his name?
Scott.
Yeah, Scott. That was just messing with him.
Dryest guy.
We're going down to the shop, and so we'll have hopefully a really cool transformation video of the E36, which will be awesome. Set the tone for the car.
And then when you send it up to me, which you guys heard, that's a binding contract. We're gonna get to restore the underside.
I don't know if I trust you to take it to the level that I need it.
Oh my God! I'm gonna show you the car we just did, and you're gonna go, that's what I want.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have the dry ice blaster.
I'm afraid it'll be a very explicit rules of you not allowed to touch the paint.
Oh, we don't want to touch it.
What I'll probably do is just what I would do would be kind of funny. I'll send it with painter's tape on every.
Yeah, that would be fun for you to remove and repolish and do.
Well, I wouldn't do it. All those young guys over there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd have them all tape the car like
just get the whole thing PPF.
Perfect lines of painter's tape on the whole
PPF
thing. Well, if I had have to painter's tape the PPF, so you didn't mess up the PPF.
True.
So then you get the protection to protect the protection.
We're just going to touch the underside.
Yeah.
There'll be no paint.
Yep. Get out of here, spam junk. All right, people. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Go check out Tommy's stuff.